YouTube video. It's a little cloudy outside and it's a little gloomy out on this nice summer day, but we're going to brighten things up by making some homemade chocolate chip cookies. Chocolate chip cookies is one of the easiest basic baking recipes you can make for your family. It's simple, it's easy, it's quick, and it's fun to put together, so let's get started. As usual, we're going to go through our ingredients and I'm going to give you a shot of what we need to get us started today. Our first ingredient is going to be pure granulated white sugar. You're also going to need some brown sugar, unbleached all-purpose flour. You're going to need organic eggs, large organic eggs, 3 sticks of unsalted butter that are room temperature. You're going to need some chocolate chips, which I have back here, baking soda, some good quality vanilla extract, and kosher salt. For hardware, you're going to need 2 cookie sheets lined with parchment paper. You're going to need some type of disher or a scooper or a spoon if you don't have a scoop. You're going to need, as always, when you're baking with me, you're going to need a sieve and a bowl, measuring cup, a scraper as usual. I'm attach my bowl and my paddle to my KitchenAid stand mixer, but you can also use a hand mixer if you have one. But I want to talk to you about baking laziness. When you are making these baking dishes and you follow along with providing resources for emergency preparedness and you want to do our basic baking videos, I encourage you not to be lazy in your baking. Follow the instructions, scoop out the flour, and cream the butter. If you're going to use the cream butter method and you're going to use a hand mixer, I do want you to stand there for the 5 minutes it takes to build up that volume with the hand mixer. You get that volume quicker using the stand mixer, and plus you can also sift your flour while you use the stand mixer. But if you have a hand mixer, this recipe will work just fine. You just have to stand there and give that butter and sugar time to work together to cream together. So don't be lazy when baking because the results will be well worth the extra 5 minutes. So let's get started baking our cookies today. Like everything I do, anytime I bake, I start every recipe out with turning on my oven first. And I'm going to set my oven at 375 degrees. I'm going to get that preheated. I'm also going to ask you to turn your light on because you're definitely going to need to keep an eye on your cookies. Next, we're going to start our dish by getting our butter and our sugar creaming in our mixer. Like I said, you can do this by hand if you have a hand mixer as well. So, we have our paddle attachment affixed to our KitchenAid stand mixer, and I want to start by adding the 3 sticks of softened butter to the mixer. And you definitely don't want to try to do this with butter that is not softened. You want to take the time to let that butter come up to room temperature. And you don't want to rush the process by putting it in the microwave. That's a quick and lazy way to ruin these cookies. So just let it sit out at room temperature. And then when you're ready to bake, you start baking. Alright. So that's 3 sticks. And remember I told you in the earlier video, if you're not a fan of butter, this is not the channel for you to watch. So I have in here my 3 cups of butter. Next I'm going to put in here my 1 1/4 cups of sugar. So I'm getting my sugar, my cup measure. I'm going to start with my 4th cup. And like always, I advise against the scooping method. So you want to just lightly spoon your sugar into your measuring cup, top twice, level off, add. And then next I'm going to go with the 1 cup measure. And I'm just going to spoon that in. Take the time, no shortcuts, because it will produce a better result. No lazy baking. Okay, level that off and add that in. Okay? And I've already measured out 1 1/4 cup of brown sugar. I'm going to clean that up. And I'm going to start this, put my lid down, and I'm going to get this out the way real quick. I'm going to start this by locking it, and I'm going to put it on stir just to get it together, which is 1. Alright, and you want to give that butter and sugar time to work together to incorporate, because that will make a nice, fluffier, softer cookie. Because we're not doing the thin and crispy cookies, we're actually doing the soft and fluffy cookies. So now that it's together and it's not going to fly up, I'm going to increase the speed. I'm going to put it on 4. Alrighty. So it's on 4, and I'm going to let that work, and I'm going to go over here and get my flour together. We want to get our dry ingredients together while our sugar and our butter are creaming together. So next, I want to get my flour, baking soda, and my salt sifted together like I always do. So you definitely want a bowl with a sieve. And you want 4 cups of all-purpose flour. Like I say in every single video, I want you to scoop the flour into your dish, into your cup. Tap twice, level. That's 1 cup. And I always get flour over my hands, but that's okay, that's bacon. That's our 3rd cup. I hear our butter and sugar over there in the background whirling away. And our last cup will be 4 cups. Overfill as usual. Tap twice. Level off. Put that in there. Alrighty, we're done with our flour. And this is always unbleached all-purpose flour, or I use wheat. If I grind some up, I haven't been grinding any up lately, but I'll get into the habit of doing that. Alright, next we need 2 teaspoons of fresh baking soda. So I'm going to get in here and I'm going to fluff it up. I'm going to level it off, and that's 1. And that's 2. So that's our baking soda. This recipe is really easy to come together. And the next ingredient we need is a half a teaspoon of kosher salt. And the salt is always kosher. Okay? So all we have in here is 4 cups of unbleached all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, half a teaspoon of kosher salt, and we're going to sift. As usual, I leave my bowl steady, I leave my hand steady, and I bring the sifter to my hand. And I sift. And I take my time so it doesn't go all over the kitchen, all over the bowl, all over the house. And when we get to the end, that's what we don't want. I toss that up. Now that's all of our flour, baking soda, and salt. So we're going to come back over here and we're going to scrape down our bowl. Now as you can see, I'm going to turn this off. Look at the volume that you get when you use the stand mixer. Now this goes back to what I was telling you ladies in the beginning about lazy baking. When you mix this by hand with your hand mixer, I do want you to take the time to get this type of volume in your butter and sugar. You can do it with the hand mixer. You just need to stand there and stir it around until you get the volume. You can do it. It just takes a little longer. And it's about 3-4 minutes longer. So don't take the lazy route and try to do it without building up the volume. And if your butter is at room temperature, you'll reach this volume very easy because this is a soft and fluffy cookie dough. Makes your cookies chewy. So I've scraped my bowl down. I've gotten under there And I'm just going to put this back on for a few minutes and turn it up a bit. Alright. Okay. And while that's turning, I'm going to add a few more ingredients. As you can see, the volume is built up really well. And I also have my eggs at room temperature, so I'm going to add those now, 1 egg at a time. That's 1 egg. That's 2 eggs. And I'm going to let each egg incorporate. And that's 3 eggs. Perfect. I'm going to turn that off. And I'm going to scrape that down. I'm going to lift up my lid. And I see I need to do an adjustment on my stand mixer so that my beater is cleaning my bowl. And I will do that after I'm done. Okay. So we're going to scrape that down and we're going to let it work in a little bit more. Okay. See how fluffy and light that is? So you're going to get almost a puffy cookie dough. Alright, so next I'm going to add, I'm going to put this down. I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And you want to use a good quality vanilla extract. I talk about this all the time, but I use Penzeys Pure Vanilla Extract. I'm going to wipe my bottle off. Penzeys Vanilla Extract is really good. It's a quality vanilla extract. It's not the fake wood type vanilla extract that you buy at the grocery store. And if this bottle wasn't dark, you would be able to see that Penzeys puts an actual vanilla bean in the bottle so that you always get that freshness of the vanilla. So I got my 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract in here, so I'm going to give this a little whirl again. And we're almost done, so I'm going to scrape that down. And you see how fluffy that is? It's almost pillowy. Okay. I'm going to scrape that off the beaters. Get that in there. Okay. Alrighty. So I'm just going to let that swirl one more time, and then I'm going to get my flour and start adding my flour a little at a time. So I'm going to let that beat up a second. Good enough. That's it. I'm going to scrape some of this down so I can actually get my flour in the bowl. Alrighty. So now I'm going to grab my flour from over here, and this is a flour mixture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my spatula to help me out, and I'm going to add about 1/4 of the flour. And I'm going to work it in. And I'm going to put it on 1. As you can see, it jumps out. So you definitely don't want to stir it on high. Okay. Lift that up. Scrape it down. Okay. Sorry about that. I can edit that out. Alright. And I'm going to add my next 1/4. Okay. Put it on low. Put it on 1. Okay. Okay. Scrape it down one more time. As you can see, I'm mixing up very little. It doesn't take a lot, because like I said, I want light, fluffy dough. Start it on 1 again. And now for my last installation of flour. Then we can add the chocolate chips and we're ready to go. Alrighty. My last bit of flour. Okay. I'll get rid of that in the sink. Put that down. Start it on low. Okay. Now, I'm just going to lift this up real quick. Okay. Try to get some of that off of there. Gives us a lot of cookie dough. My daughter loves this recipe because she gets a lot of cookies. Alrighty. Okay. And I'm going to go in here and scrape this down one more time. Okay. Then I'm going to give it a little whirl, and then I'm going to add the chocolate chips. Our last and final, and you can add nuts, you can add chocolate chips, you can add whatever you want at this point for your cookie dough. You can add M&Ms, sprinkles, whatever suits your fancy. Okay. Okay, so this is my last whirl. This is my last whirl. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. About 10 seconds. So now, I'm going to add my chocolate chips. And that's about 2 cups. And I'm just going to stir them in. Okay. I'm going to lift it up, scrape it down. And then I'm going to take the rest by hand. Okay. So we just scrape all this off as much as we can, because we want as much to go in the oven as possible. Okay. Okay. And get it from this side, and I think we're all scraped off. Okay, so I'm going to work with what I got here. So now I'm going to take my cookie dough off, and I'm going to come back over here. And I'm going to stick this right here and clean up for a second. I paused the video a bit because I wanted to wash my hands because I have flour all over them. But then I'm going to come back and I'm just going to finish folding the chips in. And if you want a lot of chocolate chips, you can add more. You can add nuts at this time. If you want to add some peanut butter chips or butterscotch chips, you can do it at that time. But look at this dough. See how fluffy and pillowy it is? That's perfect chocolate chip cookie dough for the fluffy, soft, chewy type of cookies we're getting ready to make. So I have my 2 dishes here. Both of them covered with parchment paper. And even if I didn't use the parchment paper, these are non-stick trays anyway, but I like the parchment paper because it's easier to take the cookies off after they bake to cool down. So I got my scooper here, and I'm going to get in here, and as you can see, all the chocolate chips throughout. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to scoop up and even off. And I'm just going to place a scoop on the paper. Perfect. Even off, scoop on the paper. Right. And these will give you some nice sized cookies. Okay, that's one tray. Second tray. Even off. Ooh, way too much on that one. So you definitely want to even off. And that's what using a scoop makes it nicer to work with. Okay. Alrighty. So I think that's enough for the first round. And I'm going to get this in the oven at 375 degrees. Now I want to tell you bake these from 8 to 10 minutes, but I'm not going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you to bake these from 8 to 10 minutes, but watch them because each oven is different. Some people have the convection oven that circulates the air. Some people have a basic oven like I do. So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to your cookies. That's why I had to turn the light on at the beginning if you have one. Also, invest in a good kitchen timer. Sometimes when I'm, cleaning up my kitchen after I done made my mess making my cookies, I get distracted. So you want to set your timer for the 7 to 8 minutes, and at 7 minutes you want your timer to go off so you can start looking at your cookies, because you don't want your cookies to overbake. You won't get soft chewy cookies, you'll get hard crispy cookies. So I'm going to set my timer for 7 minutes and get started. My oven is clean, and halfway through this process I'm going to come back and rotate my pan because my oven does bake uneven. Alright, we're going to let those cookies bake up. Halfway through I'm going to come back and rotate my pan, top to bottom, back to front, and then we're going to come back and load up more cookies and clean up this mess, and we'll show you how everything turns out. We'll be back. So we're back. Our cookies are good and baked. It's been about 7 to 8 minutes. I'm going to take them out so they don't overbake. You're going to notice that they're very puffy, but as they sit and cool, they're going to collapse and become normal size cookies. So I'm going to take them out now. And as you can see, the edges are golden brown, but we don't want the centers to be golden brown. So we're going to let those sit a second. We're going to let them sit, and as you see, they're nice and puffy. As they sit, they're going to collapse down and become normal cookies. These have already started that process. Then we're going to use our spatula to take them off. Transfer them here. We're going to load up more cookies. All right, we're going to use this to lift off our cookies to the cooling rack. And these are nice, fluffy, soft, chewy cookies. And they smell awesome. I wish you guys had smell-o-vision or smell of YouTube. But as you can see, they look awesome. Okay. So that's my first set. Alrighty. So now, I'm ready to start loading up my second set. And like before, I'm going to even off and place on the tray. And I'm using this size scoop because I don't want baby cookies. I actually want cookies. Alrighty. Get these loaded up a second time. You want to scrape off the excess. Okay, that's one tray. Okay. Last one. Okay. So we're going to grab our oven mitts, get the second batch in the oven. Alrighty, I'm going to reset my timer for 7 to 8 minutes. and we'll be back when this batch is done. So we're halfway through the cooking time on our second batch. We're going to take our pans, make the top the bottom and the bottom the top. Okay. Alright, so we rotated our second batch. We'll be back, show you how. Alright, so our second batch of cookies are ready to come out. They're brown around the edges, but not in the center. And as you can see, they're nice and puffy. And like before, we're going to give those a minute to cool down. And then we're going to come back and take them off and put them to our cooling rack. As you can see, these have cooled down a bit, and you can start to see the chocolate chips start to pop up. We'll be back in a minute to depan these and get our last batch in. So we're back again, and our second batch of cookies have had a moment to sit and relax. We're going to depan those and get them to our cooling rack. And I've kind of shifted the other ones to the side to make room for these. This recipe is easy to make, so I hope you and your family try to make it. It's also a fun recipe to make with the kids. Ready? Almost done here. Okay. So that's our second batch. Alright, so we have room for 3 more cookies in our last of our batter. I put them on the same parchment paper. I'm going to throw these in the oven, 78 minutes, and we'll be back. We're back once again. Our third batch of cookies are done. They're brown around the edges. We're going to take them out the oven. Alright. So that's our third batch of cookies. We're going to let that batch cool down. We're going to add them to the cooling rack, and we'll be right back. Alrighty, so this is our last batch of cookies. We're going to get those on the cooling rack. I'm actually going to lay those flat. Alrighty. And as you can see here, we've gotten 26 large-sized chocolate chip cookies. If you wanted to go with a smaller scoop and reduce the size, you can cut these in half. You can get a lot more cookies. So this is our chocolate chip cookie recipe. You can make these at Thanksgiving and Christmas for the cookies exchanges. You can add nuts and M&Ms and anything you want to this basic cookie recipe. I want to thank you for watching another Providing Resources for Emergency Preparedness basic baking video. Visit us at our website at www.providingresources.com. Also coming soon to the Atlanta, Georgia area will be baking classes with me. So stay tuned to the Prep website for that. Connect with us on Facebook and also on Twitter at Prep Family. Have a blessed day, and we'll see you in the next video.